So in talking about capitalism and the future, and especially AI, let's have a deeper conversation on this, because, you know, the fear is it's going to take our jobs and you're going to be a useless eater, et cetera, because AI will have all of the answers. Correct. But how many times...
And good night, everybody.
Hang on. That is correct if you look at it that way. But let me say this. I can have people who are wildly educated on exactly the same facts, and they will come to a different conclusion or a different way to look at that, okay? They can agree on all of the same facts, but because they're each unique, and AI is not AGI or ASI is not going to be unique, I don't think. This is my understanding of it now, and I've got to talk to some more people about this that actually know. Because coding is now what AI does, okay? That can develop any software. However, it still requires me to prompt. I think prompting is the new coding. And if you don't know what prompting is, you should learn today what prompting means. It is an art form. It really is. As I have been working with this now for almost a year now, learning how to prompt changes everything. And now that AI remembers your conversations and it remembers your prompts, it will get a different answer for you than it will for me. And that's where the uniqueness comes from. And that comes from looking at AI as a tool, not as the answer. So, Stu, if you put in all of the prompts that make you, you, and then I put in a prompt that makes me, me, Donald Trump does it, Gavin Newsom does it, it's going to spit out different things because you're requiring a different framework. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can essentially personalize it, right, to you.
Correct.
It's going to understand the way you think rather than just a general person would think.
Correct. And if you're just going there and saying, give me the answer, well, then you're going to become a slave. But if you're going and saying, hey, this is what I think, this is what I'm looking for, this is where I'm missing some things, et cetera, it will give you a customized answer that is unique to you. And so prompting becomes the place where you're unique. Now, here's the problem with this. This is something that I said to Ray Kurzweil back in 2011, maybe. He was sitting in my studio, and I said, so Ray, we get all this. It can read our minds. It knows everything about us, knows more about us than anything, than any of us know. How could I possibly ever create something unique? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, if let's say I wanted to come up with a competitor for Google, if I'm doing research online and Google is able to watch my every keystroke and it has AI, it's knowing what I'm looking for. It then thinks, what is he trying to put together? And if it figures it out, it will complete it faster than me and give it to the mothership, which has the distribution and the money and everything else, and I won't be able to do it because it'll already have done it. And so you become a serf. The Lord of the manor takes your idea and does it because they have control. That's what the free market stopped. And unless we have control of our own thoughts and our own ideas, and we have some safety to where it cannot intrude on those things, that we have some sort of a patent system for unique ideas that you're working on, that AI cannot take what you're and share it with the mothership, share it with anybody else, then it's just a tool of oppression. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, these companies would say they're not going to do that.
Whether you know what Ray said? Yeah, Ray said, Glenn, we would never do that. And I said, why not? And he said, well, because it's wrong. We just wouldn't do it. And I was like, oh, Oh, I forgot how moral and, such high standing everybody in Silicon Valley and Google is.
And Silicon Valley and Google is I have far more confidence in their just benevolence than I do China.
Yes. And Washington.
and Washington. Yeah, exactly.
The DOD.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to have these things developed, and who knows what they're going to do. I mean, I suppose there will be some. Eventually, if that becomes an issue or becomes a risk, there's going to be some solutions to that. Like you could have closed loop systems that don't connect with the mothership, but like all that stuff's going to be. There will be answers to those questions, I'm sure. But, at some level, right, they're using what you're typing in as training for future AIs.
Correct.
Right? So,
Correct.
all, in a way, kind of has to go to the mothership at some level. And whether they try to take advantage of it in the way you're talking about, I mean, you hope they don't, but I don't trust them.
Right now, a year ago, we thought we'll use somebody's AI as the churn, as the compute power, because the server farms, everything is so expensive. But I don't think now, we've been talking about this at the Torch that our dreamers are working on. I'm not sure we're ever going to be able to get the compute power that we need for a large segment of people. Because right now, these companies, now think of this, the world is getting between 1% and 3% of the compute power. So that means 97 to 99% of all of that compute is going directly into the company trying to enhance the next version, okay? All of that thinking, that's like you giving, something that everybody else thinks is your main focus, and you're only giving it 20 or 15 minutes a day, okay? You're operating at the highest levels, and I'm only going to spend 10 minutes thinking about your problem. All right. And you think that's what I'm really doing, is spending all my time on there. And so they're eating up all of the compute for the next generation and I don't think that's going to stop. And so we're now looking into, can we afford to build our own AI server farm at a lower level that doesn't have to, take on 10 million people, but maybe 1 million people, and keep it disconnected from everything else? If we can do that, I think that's a really important step that people will then be able to go, okay, all right, I can come up with my own company, compute farm, that keeps my secrets, keeps all of the things that I'm thinking, keeps all of this information right here. Hopefully that will happen, but I'm not sure, because I think when they do hit AGI, you're not going to get it. You might have access to AGI, but it will be so expensive because AGI is going to try to get to ASI. So when they get to AGI, when that is there and available, it could be $5,000 a month for an individual. It could be astronomical prices. You're not going to get compute time on a quantum computer. You're just not. It'll be way too expensive, because the big boys will be using it. The DOD will be using it, most of it. The Microsoft and Google and everybody else, when they develop theirs, they will be using it themselves to get stronger and better, et cetera, et cetera. So there has to be something for the average person to be able to use this that is not connected to the big boys.
I'm still not sure, Glenn, if we're at this time, but just to redefine these terms, AGI and ASI, artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence. And the artificial general intelligence is basically, it can be the smartest human, right?
Not even that. You would still consider this person a super genius. It's general intelligence. You are a general intelligence being, meaning you can think and be good at more than one thing. You can play the piano and be a mathematician, and you can be the best at both of those, okay? What we have right now is narrow AI. It's good at one thing. Now, we're getting AI to be better at multiple things, okay? But when you get to general AI, it will be the best human, beyond the best human, in every general topic. So it can do everything. It'll pass every board exam for every walk of life, okay? Now that's the best human on all topics. And I would call that super intelligence myself, but it's not. That's just general intelligence. Top of the line, better than any human on all subjects. Super intelligence is when it goes so far beyond our understanding, it will create languages and formulas and alloys and think in ways that we cannot possibly even imagine today, because it's almost like an alien life form. You know, when we think, oh, the aliens are going to come down, they're going to be friendly. You don't know that. You don't know how they think. They've created a world where they can travel in space and time in ways we can't. That means they are so far ahead of us that we could, to them, be like cavemen or monkeys. So we don't know how they're going to view us. I mean, look how we view monkeys. Oh, that cute little monkey. Let's put something in its brain and see if it feels electricity in its brain. Okay? We don't know how it's going to think because we aren't there. And that's what we're developing. We're developing an alien life form that cannot be predicted and cannot be something that we can even keep up with.